Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today, Masechtas Sanhedrin daf Yud Beis. We are going to begin on the very bottom of Yud Aleph Amud Beis. Tanubam. In Mavernes Hashana, so we don't add an extra month of an other sheni as we continue Beis Amud Aleph B'Shnei Ra'avoi, a time of famine. Rashi says, Lefi Shekol Tvua, you have no food, and all you have is new grains. You're not allowed to eat chadash until Pesach, and therefore, because of that, we don't want to push it off, and therefore it will be an extra month of you not being able to eat. Tanya Rabbi Omer, the pasuk says, "V'ish ba mibal shlisha, v'yavo ish elokim lechem bikurim." This ish elokim went and brought bikurim, esrim lechem se'oirim v'gomer. Ve'ein one kala b'chol Eretz Yisrael. There was nothing. Ve'ein kala b'chol Eretz Yisrael. There was no growth in Eretz Yisrael of Asher Peroiseha for the fruits to ripen. Yosim about Shlisha, nothing more than bar Shlisha. So let's go right into Rashi. So lechem bikurim is lechem aviv mashma. These are the first ripened grains. V'afol pikein ubachor elamin echad. So we see again that this is a support to this notion that we're not going to add time, because Shema Timer Chitim Talmud Leimer Sa'orin Shema Timer Lefnei Ha'omer Talmud Leimer Teinu Am B'Yochelu Achar Omer Hoya. So which means that it was mutter to eat chadash. The fact that it says Teinu Am B'Yochelu, that they can go and eat it, it must be that we're talking about that it was allowed to be eaten after the bringing of the Omer. Says Rashi, V'shema timer chitim hayu shehein afelois l'kach nisachru lavashel ad achar Pesach. So when it comes to wheat, this is something in which it takes more time to ripen. So Emar miyat the roya haiso isa shana shidis aber, that it was actually fit to extend the year. Nenimalulo ibra Elisha. So then why didn't Elisha do it if he could have? Shishnas b'tzayres haisa, because it was a time, someone just said it, like Shnei Ra'avoin, it was a time of difficulty and trouble. And everyone was running to the storage house, which basically means that people needed food. And therefore, if all they have is chadash, so then you don't want to extend the year, so it ends up being an extra month before Pesach comes. Talking about in Mavernes Hashana lefnei Rosh Hashanah, we're not Maver before Rosh Hashanah, says Rashi. In Yoshim based in Kodim Rosh Hashanah, we're not going to sit and convene before Rosh Hashanah. Well, ayin to look into the matter of a lamer. This aber shana zu b'shnei adalhim. Should we have a second other? Because if it's so far away, people may forget that that's what was done. So people are going to maybe forget that we added a second Adar, and therefore, because of that, Pesach is not going to fall out on the time that we initiated. Well, it does, but people are not going to know that, and therefore, because of that, we don't want to even engage in any conversation before Rosh Hashanah. It's too far away from the actual time. The Ibrua in Muberis. And therefore, for that reason, if we actually did so, it doesn't work. However, if there's a time of Hadchak, let's say there's no other Beis Din that's going to be able to convene, so therefore they could do so after Rosh Hashanah immediately. V'avol pikein en mavirin el adar. You can't do anything except for Adar. It has to be an Adar Sheni. Even though let's say you convene in the month of Cheshvan, doesn't make any difference. We're not going to make 2 months of Cheshvan or 2 Kisleves. We'll only make 2 Adars. That's not so. But it was sent to Rava. Zug, these pair of 2 Talmidei Chachamim, Bami Rekes, they came from this place. V'tovsu Nesher, and this Persian army grabbed hold of them. Uviyadim devarim hanasim belois sumaynihu tchelas. So they were actually they had this tchelas with them, and they came again from Rekas. Rashi says this is Tveria. Tosu Nesher is Chayil Parsim, this is the Persian army. B'zchus Rachamim v'zchusam, in their merit of mercy, Yatsu b'shalom, they're able to leave out in peace. Musi, and the officers who are Yorechi Nachshoin, from the loins. Says Rashi, Nasi Shemeretz Yisrael, there was a leader of Eretz Yisrael, Shu Mizera Nachshoin, who was a descendant. He was Yeriche, he came from the loins of Nachshoin. Nachshoin ben Nadav, Rishon L'Nasim. So Big Shul Kvoya Nitziv Echad. He wanted to add an extra Nitziv. He wanted to add an extra month on this year. V'loy Hanichon Adoimi Halaz. However, they did not allow it. The Adoimi Halaz, which is the wicked Roman Empire, they didn't allow. Ababalia Sufais Nasvu, they gathered together. B'kavul Nitziv Echad Kiyerech Shemes Boy Aaron Akayin, and they ended up making an extra month, just like when by the time of Aaron Hakayin. Now, when was this? This was the month in which Aaron died, which is Chodesh Av. Says Rashi, Ba'av, Alma, Memnei Chak, Ma'ayinin Be'ibor Shenlef Ner Rosh Hashanah. They were able to convene already in the month of Av, before Rosh Hashanah. What do you mean, B'Shas and Chak, you only do it after Rosh Hashanah? So, Chashuvi Mechashu. The truth is, you're right. For them to calculate everything, they could even do it even before Rosh Hashanah. However, they're not going to reveal anything that they say until after Rosh Hashanah, because if it's too early, people may end up forgetting. So my mashma the high nitziv lishna diarchahu. How do you know when it says the word nitziv, it's referring to month? The chsiv, it says ulashloimoi shneim as nitzivim al kol Yisrael. Regarding Shlomo, there were 12 months for Klal Yisrael. The kilkulu as hamelech, and he supported the es anasha of Chodesh Mishana. He supported a month in the year. Says Rashi, She'al kol echad l'kalkel. So v'aksiv and nitziv echad asher ba'aretz. It says the nitziv echad, which is in the land. So how do we understand this? So the Gemara answers, Rabbi Rab Nachman chad oimer echad memoino akulam. One ruled over all of them. One is talking about this extra month. Okay. Tanoban. Ein ma'avir nesa shana loy mishana lo mishana lechaverta. You don't make it 1 year to the next. As Rashi, mishana haba srichel aver ein ma'avir shana zu. We don't just make, if let's say last year we had a second Adar, we're not going to do the same thing again this year. And not only that, not only not do 2, lo shalish shanim zu achazu. We're not going to do 3 years one after the other. Okay. The problem is, because if you keep pushing it off, so the whole reason why we have this shana, this extra month, is every so often, about once in 3 years, or 7 out of 19 year cycle. So if you do it not enough, then all of a sudden Pesach's going to be in the winter. On the other hand, if you do it too many times, then Pesach's going to be in the summer. Omer Shimon Ma'aseh Rabbi Kiva, he was in jail. And we find Taka they did go 3 in a year. So based in Yashvu v'kavu achas bizmana, says Rashi. V'lo iber gimel shanim ritzufos. It wasn't 3 consecutive years. V'lo zu achar zu hoya. It wasn't one after the other. El mimnesher b'kiva chacham gadol hoya u'baki b'ibra hashana u'oimed l'hareg. He was going to be killed, so we wanted to take advantage of his expertise while he was alive. But based in Yashua imoy v'ainu b'iber gimel shanim v'lo ritzufos el kol achas bizmana. Each one was in its proper time. Tan Rabbanan. Ein ma'avanas hashana lo b'shvius, not on the 7th year. Lo b'moitzi shvius. Now, why not on the Shemitah? Says Rashi. So you're not able to work on Shemitah. So we're now going to make Shemitah the 13th month. 12 months is hard enough. Also not on Moitzi shvius, says Rashi. B'shminis V'shikol hayashan marichin aleihin iser chadash. So again, nothing was planted for all the 7th year. Now the 8th year, you have to wait longer. No, we may need more food, and therefore we want to matir chadash earlier. So emasai regil lu'aver. When is a good time to do it? So Erev Shvius, and it makes a lot of sense it should be done Erev Shvius, says Rashi, l'hoisel chadash chaydesh lavodas karka. So because you can't work next year, so therefore we want to give you an extra month to be able to build up as much as you have, as much as you can. Shall beis Rabbi Gamliel hoyim ma'avrin b'moitzi shvius. He talked did it moitzi shvius, even though he said we're not supposed to. The truth is, it's a pabuta dahani tanoi, the sanya. In mavien yerek mechutz la'aretz. A person is not allowed to bring vegetables from chutz la'aretz. Rabbi Seinu hatiru. So my binayu. What's the difference? Are we concerned over the clods of earth? Says Rashi, Shem yavi yima magush eretz ha'amim, shematama b'oil. We say that the clods of earth from eretz ha'amim that you come in contact, actually it's matama even b'oil. V'yitma taharais shel eretz Yisrael. So therefore, because of that, the question is, are we chayshish of this? And therefore, maybe we don't want vegetables to come into Eretz Yisrael. So, because of that, what's the nafkamina? The nafkamina is that if we allow vegetables from Chutz La'aretz Eretz Yisrael, okay, so we can have an extra month, Motzi Shvius, it's not a big deal. However, if you can't do it, so then we're kind of stuck with a minimal amount of food that we have, therefore we're not going to be maver the Shana on Motzi Shvius. Tanabanan, Ein maver nes Shana mipnei hatuma. We're not going to add extra month because of Toma. Says Rashi, let's say the nasi is sick. V'amduhu lomos. Erev Pesach is going to die. Oh, shnei yomim koidim, a couple days before, you tameim. And therefore, because of that, everyone needs to come in contact with the nasi, which means God's klal Yisrael is going to be tamei. Oh, shahaya ruban tamein b'sayv adar. Majority of people are tamei. V'kolta afar para. V'eina yichon limsayach shah paraduma. Can't find another paraduma. Ein mavirin bekach el yasu batomos. We say, you know what? Okay, so you'll have to bring a carbon pesach batoma, right? The majority of the people are tamei. He says, no, if it's an issue of toma, then you taka could be mavin the shana to make an extra month. So hopefully by then, a month later, you'll all be tahar. Or Rabbi Yehuda, masa bechizkiya melch Yehuda, shiavers hashana mimnei atoma. That we find by Chizkiah that he actually did this. He made an extra month because of Tumah. Ubikish rachmim al atzman, but he asked mercy upon himself, which is mashmat because he was wrong for doing so. Dechsiv ki marbis ha'am ravtam Ephraim u'Manashi yisachar zulan lo hitaru. So again, he basically recognized, according to one opinion, that he was wrong in doing so because you're not allowed to be maver the shana because of tuma. Yud beis and beis. Ki ochlu as a pesach beloik kosu. That you ate the pesach not as it's prescribed. Says Rashi, shiavar as a shan memnei tuma shelo kedas. Because it ended up the carbon pesach was eaten not at the right time because you decided to be maver the shana without our consent. Ki ispal chizkiyahu leihem leimer Hashem hatayiv yichaper. Ba'ad Rabbi Shmuel. Okay, so you should ask mercy for this mistake. Rabbi Shimon Aimer im mipnei hatuma ivruha muberes. If Yitaka did it because of this, then b'nei it works. If Yitaka could do it, so then what did Chizkiyahu have regret for? Shin ma'ririn el adar v'hu ibor nisan nisan. He made a mistake that he ended up making the new month already in the month of Nisan, and that's too late. You have to do it in the month of Adar to make another Sheni. You can't do it for a second Nisan. Shimon Yehuda that they convinced the Klal Yisrael to bring a carbon Pesach Sheni, which was not necessary because they were tamei. According to this first pshat, which maybe the Gemara talks about, is that in the Gemara, it's brought elsewhere in Pesachim, that this is one of Chizkiyahu's 3 mistakes. And his mistake was that he shouldn't have been Maver the Shana. But it wasn't that he was Ma'avid the Shana in Nisan, but he was Ma'avid on the 30th of Adar, which it's shaykh that possibly, we're going to see this actually, that maybe it's already Nisan, right? It's possible already it's Nisan. So you can't do it on that day. Okay, let's look at a couple questions. Question 11. Ein ma'avinas hashana mimnei atuma. Mahadin b'diavad u'mastadim b'zeh. So b'diavad pluta the Tanakam Yehuda Tanakam atuma dechuyi b'tzibor v'im over muberes. Doesn't sound like we did this, but okay. Rabbi Yehuda tuma chuta b'tzibor u'shol tzarchi brua v'in muberes. So the question is, the fact that you could do so, is it tumah hutur b'tzibura, and therefore it's totally mutter, and therefore it's totally unnecessary to have pushed off the month? Or do you say tumah dechuyi b'tzibur, and really you should try to find ways for things to work out, and therefore if you could add an extra month in order to push it off so that people become tahar, then it would be allowed. Okay, that's question 11. Question 12. Ma also chizki shel kedas ubikish achar kach rachamim al ta'ato. What was his mistake? So either l'chad man di'emer iber es hashana mimnei atuma, which he shouldn't have done. L'chad man, because again maybe because of tuma hutra b'tzibur anyway. L'chad man di'emer iber b'yom shloishim da'adar, as I said. L'chad man di'emer shehisias Yisrael lasos pesach sheni. He convinced them to bring the Pesach Sheni. Okay, let's go a little bit further before we see more questions. Amar Mar, Rabbi Yehuda Omer Ma'avir. That for Toma you could push it off. Alma Isa Rabbi Yehuda Toma Dechuya Hibat Sibor. So this is what we're talking about. There's an Indian of Toma Dechuya, and therefore because of that, it's better to not bring the carbon tame, and therefore if you can push it off, so better do so, then you can be ma'aver the shon, to make an extra month. Tanya sits ben shishnu al mitzcha ben shinu al mitzcha. When it comes to the kohen gadol, one of his big zahav, which is the golden headband, whether it's on his forehead or not, maratza, it's still maratza for a person. It brings kapara. Tivi Reb Shimon. It all depends. If he's wearing it, it's maratza. If not. So normally Rav Shimon kohen gadol b'yom kippurim yachiach. Sheno al mitzcha maratza. On Yom Kippur he wears big deal lavan. Doesn't wear the big deal zahav with na'il of nim because they ain't kategas sneger. So therefore, because of that, how do we understand? He's not wearing the tzitz. So, but nonetheless, is maratza. So we see Takna that you don't need to for the marat to be ratza. The reason why it's okay is because we hold Tuma Hutur B'tzibor anyway. And therefore, the fact that the kohen gadol is not wearing it, that's not a problem anyway. Because if it turns out that you have Tuma, that the tzitz is maratza. So again, Vogan Rashi, Hanach Yom Kippurim Shekul Avodas Tziborhu. That when it comes to Yom Kippur, the whole avodah that the kohen gadol does is really doing for the tzibor. The Tuma Hutter B'Karbon Tzibor, but Tahara Gemura, Kitahara Gemura is completely good. They ain't sarch tzitz l'ratzais. There's no need for a ritzoy that sits. Alma Heter Gamarhu. Therefore, if you hold, this is what he holds, Tuma Hutter B'Tzibora. Since you hold Tuma Hutter B'Tzibora, you don't need the tzitz the miratza because it's fine. If you hold Tuma Dechuya B'Tzibor, then Taka, you do need the tzitz the miratza, and therefore, that's where it's problematic. L'tamich Tikshal Chigufer Behuda Eimer Ma'avir, and you could be Ma'avir the Shalna. So Yemer Behuda Masa B'Chizkiya Melch Yehuda Shibur Es Hashem Me'Me'etom B'Bich Racham El Atzmai. Yehuda himself says that he shouldn't have done it. So El Chasher Ma'aseh Hakatan. This is how you're supposed to read it. Ein Ma'avir Es Hashem Me'Me'etom. You're not supposed to. Avi Eimer V'Ru Muberes, but the evidence okay. Behuda Eimer Ein Muberes. Even the evidence not good because that's this Machlokas according to Yehuda. Okay, the Yemer Yehuda V'Chul. So Yehachi Rav Shimon Me'atoma Yivuruha Muberes Tanakam Lochar. It's the same thing. So Rav Chatchili K'Menayim. It all depends if L'Chatchili you should do so. That's the difference. Says Rashi, the Tanakam Kalimer Ein Ma'avir L'Chatchila. Rav Shimon Ma'avir L'Chatchila. Just even if could you do it even L'Chatchila? Tanya nami hachi ma'avir nesa shan mimnei tumul lechatchila. You can't do lechatchila, but the evidence okay. Rabbi Shimon Omer ma'avirin. You could do it. El mimnei ma bigish rachmi al atzmo shin ma'avir. So why not? El adar v'ibr Nisan. His mistake was that it was supposed to be done by Adar, and he did it in Nisan. Or mamar shin ma'avirin el adar, because you're only supposed to add a second adar. Who ibr Nisan. He added a second Nisan, which is not what it means, but let's just read it that way in the Havamina. In fact, the Gemara, that's not possible. Chizkiya doesn't hold the Chodesh Zolachem Zen Nisan in Acher Nisan. The Pasuk's mashma that can only make one Nisan. How did he do it twice? No, he didn't make two Nisans, he made two Adars. The problem is like this. Talmud Shmuel, the Yermer Shmuel, you can't wait till the 30th of Adar already to make this decision. What was the decision? The decision was to make an other sheni. You can't do it because Nisan, because it's shaykh that the 30th day already could be Nisan, so it's too late for you to be able to be Ma'aver Shana. You suffer Hoyel V'roy Uloyam. He didn't hold of that svar, which meant he thought that on the 30th day Taka could be Ma'aver the Shana, but of course he made a second Adar. Tanim Lihachi in Ma'aver Nesa Shana B'yom Shloishim Shalana. On the 30th, Hoyel V'roy Ukavo Nisan. Okay. All right. Weiter. Reb Shimon ben Yehuda Omer Reb Shimon Nebnei Sheasias Atzmo Lasis Pesach Sheni. So what he did was he said, you know what, let's bring it on the second month of Pesach Sheni. So Hechidami Omer Ravashi Kikain Shayi so Mechsa Tamei and Mechsa Tahir. Now we know if let's say all Klal Yisrael or the majority of Klal Yisrael are Tamei, so then of course they don't bring we say that you could bring the carbon on Pesach. But the problem is, if it was that the minority are Tamei, so what happens? The majority of people bring the carbon Pesach. The minority of people will bring it on Pesach Sheni. So, Shahayiso Mechsa Tamei Mechsa Taharin. But Nashim Ashlimois with Taharim. So, the women who also are Mechuyev to have a carbon Pesach, they tipped the scale, so there was 51% Tahar. So therefore, they went beyond the half. So mikar savar nashim barishain chayva. Since they're obligated to have a miyutin tamei, miyutin midchul pesach sheni. So what happened was, since there was only a minority of people, so he said they can't bring the carbon pesach on the first month of Pesach. Rather, they have to wait till Pesach Sheni, because there was a majority of Tahar people. So therefore, the minority would have to wait till Pesach Sheni. Therefore, what ended up happening is the majority of the people were Tamei. Since you had the majority of the people who were Takatame, so therefore it could have all been brought then. You didn't have to wait till Pesach Sheni to do it. You don't do it on the 30th. That's too late. Because Taka, you could end up making that 30th day could end up having been Nisan. So so Ivru am I. If you did it, what's the din? So Ma'ula ain mikanshin es a chaydish. You cannot be mekanish the month. In other words, you did not make an other sheni. To kiddush mai. What if you also did this? So Marava batal ibor. It ignores this ibor and it doesn't work. Nachman Omer meuber u'mekudish. He says that although you violated these two things, it still works. Armali Rav Rav Nachman Michti. Mipurim lepescha tulasin yomin. From Purim until Pesach, it's 30 days. Havi. Umipuria darshinan b'hilchos Pesach. And we therefore know, since we always darshan 30 days before a Chag, so we start really Purim time. The Sanya, Shon b'hilchos Pesach, koinim Pesach shoshim yoyim. Shemul omer shtei Shabbosos, 2 weeks before the Chimatu Reish Yircha. Therefore, when the Rosh Chodesh comes, merachkin lei, and you push it off, azuzuzli b'chametz. Understand? If, let's say, you already started to darshan 30 days before, which is the 15th, let's say the 15th, the 14th day of Adar, and then a couple of days later you decide, you know what, we're going to have another Sheni, so isn't that going to cause problems that people are not going to, they're already darshaning 30 days before, they're going to think that Pesach is coming up soon. The truth is, it was really a month later. Or Malay, Meidi Yadi, people will know. The Shatam Avarta, they'll know that this year is a additional month. B'chushbena Tali Milsa, because it's all totally on the cheshbonos of the Beis Din. They'll just say, obviously the Rabbanon were calculating all this. They just didn't reach a conclusion until after Purim time. So we started darshaning, but the reality is, once we are able to find out, we're going to know definitively that there will be an other sheni. And therefore, because of that, we're not going to be concerned that people will potentially make a mistake. Okay. And we'll stop there. Okay, let's go through these questions again. Question again, 11. So it's a machlokus if it's b'diavad or chatchila, and it's totally of whether you hold tuma dechuya b'tzibor. If you hold tuma dechuya b'tzibor, then you can push it off. If you hold tuma huta b'tzibor, and therefore there's no need to have made an extra other sheni, therefore you're not maver. Question 12. So either the person, he made an other sheni because of tuma. He may have made other sheni on the 30th day of Adar, which is already maybe too late, or that he convinced Klal Yisrael to bring a Pesach sheni because there was, together with the women, the majority of the people were tahar, and therefore those minority people are tameh. They should bring Pesach sheni. But the truth is that we don't include the women, and therefore there was actually more people that were tameh than tahar, and therefore because of that they could therefore have brought the carbon Pesach on the first of Pesach. Question TA 21. When are you able to be Ma'aver the Shana under extreme circumstances? So Acher Rosh Hashanah. So you could already do it. TA 21. Let's just find this. Let's see. Lefnei Rosh Hashanah v'yimei vrua in muveres al b'mnei chak ma'avirin oisa achar Rosh Hashanah miyad. You don't have to do it. V'afal pi kein ma'avirin esa adar. Okay, so that is TA 21. Okay, TA 22. Leave it acherem to be inan shetekufas nisan. Okay, we didn't do that. Let's continue. TB 21. He'im avrinas ashana b'shana shvius o b'shminis uma hatam. Okay, so this is also in Yud Beis Amud Aleph. This is TB 21. Let's just find the Gemara over here. Ein mavirin es ashana lo b'shvius lo b'maitzi shvius. Right, which is TB 21. And we saw the Rashi because we don't want to add an extra month. Let's see what I wrote. Whoa, it can work. Didn't really answer about the Shminas. Okay, so I didn't completely answer that question. But Shminas is because of, again, of Isser Chadash. Alright, question, here we go, another one. Which is going to end up being question 12, I guess. Yeah, question, same as question 12. Which is Yud Beis Amud Aleph to Yud Beis Amud Beis. TB 22. So let's see what I wrote. Over Nisa B'Nisan B'Yom Shloishim Shaloi K'Shmuel. Also Pesach Yimei Tuma V'Nachnu Servim Tamei Huter B'Tzibor Hu Toya Al Pesach Sheni Im Nashim Etztarfin L'Roi V'Zetoli Im HaKarban Pesach Chayva Rishus L'Nashim. Okay. Hatka.